So we have Congressional District number 1 in Florida. They're going to have a special election. There's a special election in Florida for a House representative seat, which is very important because the House, there's only a 4-member difference. The Republicans have 218 members and the Democrats have 214 members. And there's 4 special elections coming up, 2 in Florida, 1 in Texas, and 1 in New York. Now, this race here, Congressional District number 1, is this part of Florida right here in the Panhandle. And that was supposed to expand it, but it didn't do a good job. And I'm not sure, was that say Cambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, and then half of this, is that Walton County? So right here, right at the very end of the Panhandle, that's Congressional District number 1. Now, who's all running for Florida's first Congressional District in the special election? We got a list here from Ballotpedia. Gay Valimont, that's the Democrat. They just had a primary not a month or 2 or 3 ago. Gay Valimont is the Democrat nominee. Jimmy Patronis is the Republican nominee. And then you have Stephen E. Broden. There's no party affiliation, but his name will appear on the ballot. And then you have 4 write-in candidates: Richard Dembinski, Stanley Gray, Jonathan Green, and Stan McDaniels. So who are these people? Well, here's a picture of Stephen Broden. This is Stephen Broden speaking at the 2015 Lincoln Day dinner for the Tarrant County Republican Party in Fort Worth, Texas. So Stephen Broden is the independent candidate. He's an American businessman, pastor, political activist, broadcaster, former professor from the state of Texas. And you can look him up a little bit more. Mostly, I'm going to talk about the 2 main candidates, Gay Valimont and Jimmy Patronis. Now, Jimmy Patronis was the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer for the state of Florida. But Jimmy Patronis has resigned his CFO position so he could run for the first Congressional District. Now, this was Mike Waltz's seat, and this is a heavily Republican district. Mike Waltz, when he ran in November 5th, got 67% of the vote. And in the first district, when it comes to registered Republicans versus registered Democrats, there's 301,000 registered Republicans and 117,000 registered Democrats. So it looks like this Jimmy Patronis may be a shoo-in. It looks like he's a shoo-in. 301,000 versus 117,000. I mean, that's almost a 3-to-1 difference when it comes to the registered Republicans and registered Democrats. I'm not for sure how the Republicans are feeling with the current Führer, with the current Jan Führer, with Joe Biden 2.0, at least when it comes to the genocide in Gaza. I wonder what his position is with the genocide in Gaza. I'm also curious about Gay Valimont's position with the genocide in Gaza as well. I have a whole bunch of issues for Gay Valimont, and the reason why I know her positions on things is because of Ballotpedia. She had filled out a survey on Ballotpedia, and it really goes deep into her policy positions. I don't know too much about this Jimmy Patronis at all, so you'll have to do some, more research on him, and maybe he'll do some...
Move to Washington. I want to go do my job and come home and sit on this beach. We have such a beautiful place with beautiful people that live here. We just have poor representation, and currently we have 0 representation. We need to bring infrastructure money in here. Every state in the nation is benefiting from infrastructure dollars, fixing their roads and bridges. We haven't asked for that money. You don't have to drive very far on 98 to know that we need help fix those issues. Santa Rosa want to move to Washington.
Okay, so that's just a little bit of Gay Valimont, and it's interesting that her name is Gay Valimont because the DEI, the big thing about the DEI is they did a Control F search, and they're even taking the Enola Gay down, so if gay is in the name. So even though she, Gay Valimont is clearly a Caucasian, a female woman birthing person with a vagina, clearly she's a DEI hire, right? This is a DEI hire. Her first name is Gay, so that's so gay, so totally gay Valimont. Here is an interview with this Dr. Cindy Speaks. Let's listen to this for a second.
The inauguration of Trump and his beginnings in office here.
Well, it's not a surprise, but the effects, I don't think that people understand what's about to happen. Or the mass deportation, the people knocking on your door and dragging people out, and just breaking up families, closing our border. In the last year, the Biden administration it took some getting used to, some tweaking. But we have less people crossing our southern border now than we ever have. It's important. It's important addressing the border crisis. But I just don't know how this mass deportation cannot affect perfectly legal Americans that happen to have brown skin.
Yeah, and one of the things that I did, I was telling you a little bit about how I recently went up to Capitol Hill and was talking to our representatives as they were debating the Laken-Riley Act, and I was very worried because this has a lot of potential for overreach, as do the Donald Trump executive orders.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I had told them, I said, do you understand that the vast majority of people who are living in our community in Southwest Florida, and I did this throughout the Southwest Florida 5 counties, right?
Yeah. Did you see the billionaires surrounding Trump at his inauguration? Not people that are, public servants, civil servants, people that have worked in government, people that care about how our government works. Billionaires. We now are controlled by an oligarchy, and that's what's going to happen for the next 4 years. If we're lucky, it'll only be 4 years.
Gay Valimont, right? So Gay Valimont, she...
Wait, sir.
And also look at the Johnny-come-latelys like Mark Zuckerberg, who just last week decided he was going to suck up to Trump.
No,
and there he is.
Yeah.
We're in for a lot of fascinating things to happen. And I think it's important that we have leaders who are going to continue to speak.
Okay, so it seems like Cindy is doing a lot of the speaking here. I'll just kind of run down some of the things that I have discovered about this Gay Valimont. Okay, so Gay Valimont, she's got a nice little emblem here, right? This little orange, I guess Florida oranges, Gay Valimont for U.S. Congress. So Gay Valimont, she was born in Thomaston, Georgia. She's got a BA in Georgia Southern University, 1996. And even though she was born in Georgia, she got a graduate degree from Troy University in Alabama. So I feel like Georgia plus Alabama, well, that equals Florida. That's how it maths out to me. She's against guns. She's for gun control. We'll say that. The number one killer of children is guns. So she's got a career in sports medicine. She had both a husband and a son, and they both had tragically died. The husband had died of ALS, and the son had died of DIPG. She's really big on healthcare. She's for universal healthcare. She wants specifically universal, affordable, and quality healthcare. She's against discrimination. She's in favor of housing, education, access to credit, and safe working conditions. Again, I would like to know her position on Palestine. Is she for a 2-state solution, a 3-state solution, or is she okay with the genocide? She admires Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So Gay Valimont admires Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Voting rights, she wants to do something with voting rights, to restore it, to uphold it. She wants to take the hate out of politics. She wants to, let's see here. She wants to implement term limits for the representatives. She wants 4 term limits maximum, and for senators 2 terms maximum. So 4 terms for representatives and 2 terms for senators. One of the first major historical events that she remembers is Jimmy Carter being inaugurated. She waited tables during college. There's some politician named Susie Lee. She's big into Susie Lee, which I'm not for sure if that's related to Susie Q or Runaround Sue, but Susie Lee is a politician that she likes. The legacy that Gay Valimont would like to leave is that she worked harder than everybody else and that she made the world a better place. Her favorite book is Llama Llama Red Pajama, because that was her son's favorite book. The last song she remembered when she filled out the survey for Ballotpedia, Just the Way You Are, Bruno Mars. That was a song that was stuck in her head. On her website, she says she wants to protect Medicare, she wants to expand Medicaid, she wants to reduce prescription costs. And interesting, she raised $104,000 so far this year. And she raised and spent $1.5 million in 2024 for a campaign that she did last year. So that's a little bit of a breakdown there. Now, the reason why I don't have anything on Jimmy Patronis, he didn't fill out a Ballotpedia survey. There's also another controversy. Jimmy Patronis does not live in District 1. He recently leased property in District 1, so he's renting property there. I don't know if he's actually moved there or not. It is legal. All you have to do is just be living in the state of Florida to run in any of the districts. But the Republicans in his primary, they had criticized him pretty heavily.
District, I don't know how well he'd represent Pensacola being that far out. I think it absolutely should be a concern. I mean, I think in order to represent a district, you need to be a part of that district.
Some candidates are using colorful phrases to discuss Patronis' residency.
We call him Jumpin' Jimmy. Wants this seat because it's some sort of political move. I don't like that.
I think it was 7th grade. I learned about carpetbaggers. I don't know if social studies still calls them carpetbaggers, but that's what we have here. I think the people of Northwest Florida are going to reject that.
So that's actually not true. I mean, a carpetbagger, kind of. I mean, from one district to another. But this guy, Jimmy Patronis, was born in somewhere in Florida. So he was born in, I want to say Panama City or something. I don't know. I can look that up. I'll look it up. So let's see, Jimmy Patronis. It's a fun name to say, right? Patronis. Hey, it's Jimmy Patronis. Hey, everybody, look at him. He was born in Panama City, Florida. So they're both around 50 years old. It says he's 52 years old here. And then she had graduated college in 1996. And so I just kind of guesstimate that she's around 50 years old as well. Here's a little bit of an interview that Jimmy Patronis had done with WLOS News 13.
Problem of litigation, but we didn't really hear an answer from him about what the possible solution might be.
Sure.
This is in your wheelhouse, Jimmy. What do you think some of the answers could be going forward for Florida?
Sure. So I have been an advocate for getting rid of the assignment of benefits since the first day I've been in office. So as we have constantly advocated for eliminating the assignment of benefits, I don't think people really realize what this means. Is you are assigning your benefits to somebody else. I mean, you are literally giving somebody your rights to your insurance claim. And as people, especially after a storm, you see it. This is why we've been on the TV, as much as we can, advocating for people not to sign anything. What happens is they're in a vulnerable state. Somebody knocks on their door, offers them assistance, and says, well, just sign this form and I'll deal with your insurance company. You have given your claim over to somebody else that gets to set whatever invoice they want, use up whatever value of your insurance proceeds that they see fit. And the next thing you know, you're left with just peanuts to rebuild your life with. So this has been an exploitation. It can be used in noble ways when you go.
So this guy seems, like he knows his stuff when it comes to the insurance industry. It seems like it. Who knows? I don't know. He's got that greased up hair. He's a CFO of Florida, right? So you would think he knows what's going on. There's, well, let's keep listening.
Go to the emergency room and an ambulance brings you in. The first thing you sign is assignment of benefits. So the hospital can bill your insurance company for the services rendered. It has been perverted and used in a way where it is running the home insurance market into the ground and out of the state of Florida.
Is there any other thing or idea that you can bring to the table? Because what I heard you talking about is after you've been impacted by a storm. But what about for the rest of us? For instance, on this side of Florida,
Sure.
The storm didn't do much here. Okay?
So the assignment
but we're still going to be paying for it.
Absolutely. So the assignment of benefits is being exploited every day, whether you're in storm season or not. So if you look at how the assignment of benefits, it gets exploited for windshields, but it gets exploited for roofs. You've got a number of players that go into the market. It's been exploited for track. We can get.
Why is Amazon paying me $63,000 a month? Well, I didn't make this kind of money.
And get you out of it. But you think of how much manpower it does. They've got more manpower there because of the incentive they've got to sign you up. And they think.
So we'll listen to a couple more clips of him. I'm just sitting here thinking about how does his policies, compare to Gay Valimont's. Where is he at on health care? Where is he at on term limits? Where is he at on gun control? Where is he at on, really anything? I don't know where he is on housing, education, access to credit, safe working conditions. She was talking about that infrastructure. Is he going to bring some infrastructure projects back to Florida? Who does he admire? She admired Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Does he admire anybody? Does he want to take the hate out of politics? Is he going to uphold voting rights? Where's he at on Medicare and Medicaid and prescription cost? Has he ever had a regular job like waiting tables? Does he want to make the world a better place? Is he going to work hard? Is he going to work harder than everybody else? So a debate between these two would be incredible. It would be incredible to actually hear these two folks kind of just talk, about policies in general. Just, border issues, crypto. I saw a video where he was talking about crypto, but it didn't seem like he was for that crypto strategic reserve or against it. Does he understand it? Has he invested in Melania meme coin yet? What about Hawk Tua? Is he invested in Hawk Tua meme coin? And there's been a whole bunch of executive orders, and there's been the tariffs. Where do they stand on the tariffs? This is going to be an interesting race, even though it seems very one-sided, like this guy's going to win, just because of how many registered voters, how many registered Republicans are in District 1. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a lot of attention on this race, and therefore there's going to be a lot of money that's going to be put into the coffers of Gay Valimont. And this guy seems okay. He doesn't really seem like Mr. Razzle Dazzle. And what other issues, CFO, so.
I think that, if you let it to continue that way, then they get their claim. So again, the estimate is critical. That's a piece that typically the contractors that canvass the neighborhoods aren't fulfilling.
Yeah.
And that usually gives us a lane to get people out of this AOB that they have signed. Again, I can't stress enough. I'll say AOB, I'll say assignment of benefits, but it's more important, it's assigning your benefits away. It's really what you've done. You have given somebody at your doorstep who you've never met a blank check to get money from your insurance carrier.
Is there anything that can be done punitively?
Because I tell you, if you create the deterrence out there, they will stop doing the games. They will stop breaking the crimes. And I tell people all the time, when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And it's time to start showing these guys that they're playing stupid games.
So who would pick who this prosecutor is? Would that be a governor-appointed position?
So it just depends.
Are we still talking about the same
things
damn
like a property
thing?
tax bill. And they start realizing that I've got a community I'm living in, and I want to make my community better, and I've got taxes that go somewhere to make my community better. But then when you have insurance rates going up the way they have, it makes the access of home ownership that much tougher. So again, to me, this is an obligation we've got to the citizens of the state of Florida. We will continue to advocate just like we have every single year we've been in office, but we've got to have the legislature step up and do their job. You're not going to have prosperity. You're not going to have businesses relocate to the state. None of that happens without the safety net that works 24/7, 365.
Why are you not investing in tax liens? No, seriously. Why are you not investing into one of the most incredible...
So,
Speak out. And while we still have, how many Republicans are running for this seat? 9? 10. There are 10. 10 Republicans, an independent, and I believe 3 write-in candidates. Fascinating. We worked really hard. You know, Matt resigned 8 days after the election was over. We knew ahead of time that he would have to resign and there would be a special election. We didn't think it was going to be 8 days. So we had no time off. We didn't turn the lights off in the campaign office. Everything is still up and running. But this is a different race now. This is a different race from running against Matt. Because running against Matt was kind of like running against the boogeyman. And you can relate in your district. The guy that never shows up, but he's always on TV, so he's got to be doing something. And he, born and raised here, and Matt could have set the Capitol on fire, and they still would have elected him. Yeah, but I'm proud. Fascinating. That's not 12% of the Republican vote. I'm proud of that. I worked hard for it, and I believe we can do it this time. This time it's different. The Republican primary is on the 28th, January 28th, and then we'll know who we're running against. But typically in special elections, Democrats are favored. We have a chance at this. It is possible. And all I need is for other people to see that it's possible. And come here and help me get this done. All I want to do is work for this district. I don't want to be the next governor. I don't want to run for Senate. I want to go to Washington, do my job, represent these people, because I know the problems here. I know the people here. I'm not sure about those 10 Republicans.
When I was in West Palm Beach 5 years ago, and I'm turning on TV, and I see a local reporter that used to be on local markets down here now. And he is, the volume's turned off on the TV, and I said, oh, there's Andrew. So I turned up the volume, and Andrew is reporting from a retention pond where a 3-year-old girl who was autistic drowned. And then I think about the first responders that showed up and had to break the news to some mom and dad that they're not going to be able to hold their little baby ever again. So you start thinking about the trauma that these first responders go through, and these guys are working 24/7, 365. And so whether it be the PTSD benefit that we fought for, that we got through the legislature, by the way, which was Democratic-sponsored bills, but signed by a Republican governor, parties can work together. At the end of the day, that legislation is making a difference. Whenever you don't deposit your paycheck, or you had a dividend or a benefit of some sort of financial value, or you didn't renew your safety deposit box, all that comes back to us. So I think it's kind of the cool part of the office, because you get to reunite people with stuff they didn't know they had lost. A good friend of mine in my hometown, I encouraged him to go look at the website. He had $10,000 waiting on him. He didn't realize it. It was a bonus from his employment from years ago. And because it was a bonus, he wasn't expecting it. Mm-hmm. So some of the things that we send through the mail can be transformational. But in addition, I can go on and on. But I tell people in generality, we keep the trains running on time, workers' compliance. We're the bomb squad for the state. We're to do all investigations on state arson. We run the state
the state fire marshal is under your control.
And then probably one of the more emotional parts that we have is we coordinate all urban search and rescue response. So whether it be Hurricane Michael in Northwest Florida, whether it be Surfside building collapse in northern Dade County, or it be Hurricane Ian, we coordinate those resources to go from door to door to save lives and make sure they have what they need to do their jobs.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I love what you said about hope and having hope, because I think that's what people are looking for right now. I know there's a lot of malaise and people are brought down. But I think if you invigorate people enough to let them know that there's hope. And what I think is important in the point that you made, pot of money was divided up per county based on population, not based on need. So, since that has happened, we have double the amount of opioid death and addiction in this district than any other district in Florida. Double the amount. And we don't have the resources because we weren't given the money needed based on our need. I believe it's a federal emergency. I believe we need money from the federal government to fight this problem. Fentanyl is coming through the air. 90% of the drugs that are sent here come through the air. And we border Alabama. I have to find out why and who's not doing their job and how to get funds here to the people that are trying to treat these people. Because our opioid problem is lending to our homelessness problem, and our gun violence problem. It is all a circle that goes around this district, and it's something that people don't want to talk about. And everybody here knows somebody who has, and it crosses races. It is, the really rich white people have a kid that's in rehab, or we have black kids living on the street because they are addicted. It doesn't care who it gets you. And we need the resources here to solve these problems.
Can I ask you about the hot potato, the migrant flights?
Yeah, of course.
Did you sign those checks?
I did sign those checks.
Talk to me about that.
So again, the legislature appropriates money. The governor sends us over a warrant for a request for us to fulfill a warrant. We go and we check the boxes to make sure that those are accurate, and we sign the checks. So again, this was an appropriated authority by the Florida legislature. And I'd like to remind people that Governor DeSantis wasn't hiding anything, and I don't think the legislature was duped in any way. The governor telegraphed his request for this money and his budget priorities before the legislature even assembled for session. Whether it be vetoing $1 billion in 2020 or vetoing $3 billion in 2022. Those are new records of vetoes of sending the legislature. We're going to live within our means. So I take a lot of pride that we have kept Florida in a good fiscal state.
I think that is paramount. We also have our water is second to Flint, Michigan. We have a water problem. We have PFAS and all kind of things in our water system that we shouldn't have and nobody is addressing. We have bridges and roads that need to be fixed, that can be fixed with federal infrastructure money, but we've never had a congressman that would ever take federal funds. I advocate for people of this district what the federal government has to offer and how it can better our lives.
I wonder, when you look at the rest of the country, Jimmy, is the CFO in those states, is that an appointed position, or is that something that appears on their ballots too?
50-50. So state treasurers, state comptrollers, it just depends.
Let's see if we can find a video on Stephen Broden. He preaches on simply justification, on the justification of God. Let's see, which one of these two? We'll click on them both and see where it goes. Huh?
Here at the Fair Park Bible Fellowship. We're located at 1321 Rowan Avenue, and you're invited to come and join us at any time to be a part of our worship service here as we explore the words. Then he left the crowd and went into the house, and his disciples came to him and said, "Explain to us the parable of the tares of the field." And he said, "The one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man, is Christ." A moment. We're still dealing with remission right now. Man is to be saved. If he is to be saved, the penalty first must be removed.